What's up, guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cello the Fashion Fairy. If you're stopping by for the first time, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome back. So if you want to learn how I made this beautiful gown, definitely keep watching. See you in my tutorial. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe.
I'm gonna make something great. That's my
Hey so fairies, and welcome to class. So I'm just going to go over how I got to this point. So the first thing I did was to get all my vertical measurements on lock. So my vertical measurements, your waist to your bust, your shoulder to your bust, shoulder to waist, hip, and the entire length of the gown. So I added 2.5 inches to the desired length because of the curves there. I didn't want it to be too short. So this is my bust, waist, hip, and of course the entire length of the gown I'm working with. I used 4 inches by 4 inches for the front, and I also used 4 inches by 1 inch for the back. So I drafted the front and back together, and I'll show you how to cut this. So this is my front neckline, and the other one is my back neckline. So my shoulder divided by 2 plus ½ inch. I usually add ½ inch immediately. Then I did 1 inch shoulder slope, and then 8.5 for my chest line. On the chest line, I placed my bust measurement and I added 2 inches to it. I also did this for all the measurements. I didn't even use the waist measurement at all. I just ran a straight line from my chest line to my waistline, like so, from my chest line all the way to my hip line. So, and I also ran another line from my hip line all the way to the length of this gown. For the width of this, I used my bust to bust measurement, and I got this. I also marked it all the way to the length of this. And what I did was to divide it by 2, and I connected it all the way from my bust to that line right there. And I also drew a straight line from my bust point to that neckline right there. Then for my armhole curves, of course, I did for the front and for the back. So for the front, I went in by ½ inch, and I drew a curve all the way from my chest line to my shoulder slope. And this will be my front armhole. And for the back, I just eyeballed it and I did it all the way like so. And this would be my back armhole. So for the curves on the hemline, I measured 2.5 inches, and I just used my curve to do it like so. So measure 2.5 inches all the way up, and then just eyeballed it. Actually, I didn't really use a specific measurement for this part, but like I said, I just went up 2.5 inches and I connected it like so. From that line I marked earlier, it was easy for me to just eyeball it. On the side there, I went up by 2 inches, and then I marked it, got the curve. So this helped me to make sure I didn't pass it, because I've noticed that if you don't do this on your gown, it usually has a funny shape. So I decided to go in with that, and then I also made the 2 inches mark right there and got my curve out. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out, and I'm going to show you how I place this on my fabric next. Haven't sorted that out. I'm just going to be adding one half inch there to join these two pieces together. So my fabric has been folded, and I usually like to iron before I cut. So I already ironed this down and placed my pattern on it. So this point is folded, is on fold, and then this point is free. So I folded it into 4 pieces so I can get the 4 sides out. Remember, the middle part is plain, so the Ankara part is what I'm going to be cutting. Because I'm using a fabric that has designs, I carefully placed this in a way I was comfortable with. So I added half inch here, as I earlier said, for joining into the black, and then right here I just curved it in. Remember, I already added 2.5 inches earlier to make sure I don't lose the length that I want. So I'm going to be cutting out the back first, and then I'm going to be separating this. But before I do, I'm going to be marking where the back is, because this Ankara is a bit tricky. So you may want to do this if you're working with Ankara like so. So I've separated the back from this, and then I'm going to be cutting out a bit of the armhole that will form the front. So this is what it looks like, and I've cut this out. Then for the middle part, this is the back. I'm going to be adding my zipper allowance to the back, and I decided to go with 1 inch for the zipper allowance. Sorry, 1.5 inches actually for the zipper allowance. I'm going to be using half inch to turn in the lining, and then 1 inch will be for the zipper. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out right now. Mind you that everything you do to the fabric, you're also going to be doing this on the lining piece as well, because for this project we're going to be needing lining to turn it well. So you can see that I've already cut out the back neckline, and this is the zipper allowance, and I'll quickly use this and cut the front as well. So I'll quickly cut out the front neckline so that I'll be using this pattern to cut my front as well. So this is my front. I already placed this on fold, and I made sure I placed the end of that pattern exactly on fold, because this is the front, and the front is not going to be having any joining at that point. So I work with pins a lot. I went ahead to pin it so that it doesn't move, and at this point I added half inch that I'll be needing to join it to the Ankara for the sides, and I also cut out the neckline as well. So all my pieces are ready, and I'm just going in with my pins to secure this nicely. And of course I'll be using my machine to run a stitch and hold all the pieces together. And these are my lining pieces as well. Remember, I said whatever you do to your fabric, you're also going to be doing to your lining pieces as well. And this is the back lining, and this is also the other side. So I've already gone ahead, used my machine to attach everything together like so, and you can notice that I left the upper part alone. I just joined all the sides, and I'll show you how to turn this perfectly so that we'll have an inseam finishing. So the first thing I did was to iron all my seam lines open. You can see I already did this, including the allowances by the sides, and everything is all flat. And you also want to do this to your lining pieces as well, and this is what it looks like with all the seam lines open. I already did this to my lining piece as well, and you can see that it's well pressed. So what we're going to do is to turn to the right side of this gown, and then right sides facing each other. That's the lining piece and the Ankara piece. Right sides facing each other. I'm going to be turning just the necklines. So watch this side. I'm going to be turning here, and I'm going to be turning here as well, and I'm going to be leaving all the shoulder seams open. I'll turn there and leave this open. I'll leave this side open as well, and then open as well. So let me quickly do this and come back to you. So I already went ahead and turned all the necklines, and the first thing you want to do is to notch the necklines properly. Doing this will help the necklines relax better, and of course we're going to be giving this a good press when we're done notching these areas as well. So placing the two shoulders like so. So this is the front and the side. I'm going to be placing them right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be running a stitch there and then turning the lower part of this using 1/4 or 1/2 inch depending on the allowance you put there. I'll also be turning this side in. So I'll be turning everything in essentially, and this is what it looks like. And we're going to be bringing this out from the armhole area so that we can see what it looks like. So I've carefully sealed all the sides, the lower parts as well. And before we turn this inside out, we're going to be notching that lower part so that it relaxes better. So when you notch, you clip out the V part of the design so that by the time we stick in our scissors or whatever you're using to poke it out, it's going to lay flat. So carefully do this, guys, and we'll see on the other side. So I've already done this, and I'm just going to put my hand into the armhole area, and I'm going to turn this inside out. So you can see how neat the inside is. Make sure whatever thread is hanging loose, you are able to use your scissors and cut it out. If you're used to always dragging your thread, it's not a good habit. Now may be a good time to stop it. So guys, if you've watched up to this point and you've not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notification so that you're alerted whenever I have new videos. So carefully, I'm going to be poking all these parts so that they come out neatly, and I'm also going to be giving this a good press. Guys, you need to press this neatly so that it relaxes better. So if you notice that there's any side you did not really notch well, you can also go into it and then notch it better so that it relaxes. So this is what it looks like, guys, so far, and I've not even pressed this. Okay, now I have done this, and you can see that everything is laying flat and neat. And this is what the right side looks like as well. And voila, we're almost done. And the neckline, I've given it a good press. So what I will do is to attach my zipper here, and I'm just going to be using a short zipper for this, and I'll also be attaching sleeves as well. Okay, so see guys, I'm already done with this. I've attached my sleeves, and this is what the final look is. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to come around again to see my new tutorial. I love you for watching. Bye.